Hey there, Sidney here, and I'm back to show you tips for digital cardboard. Today, we're taking a closer look at Cleopatra, the Queen of the Nile and the champion of shield micromanagement. She is currently unlocked when you start the game, through a simple pack notification, but in the future, she's planned to be achieved through a special early mission. For her gameplay, she sits at a fragile 60 health, and plays very defensive due to that. But with her ability, you can gain 10 extra shield every other turn. She might look weak, but with enough time invested, Cleo can be very powerful. Once you have her locked, you can begin her 5-chapter quest line. But before we begin, we need to know that quest progress counts before you unlock the chapter. So we are going to exploit the timeline a bit. Chapter 1 is simple. You just need to collect 15 Egypt cards, 15 science cards, build a deck, and play 5 games with Cleopatra. For the collection requirements, just use the Anarchy packs. They are cheaper, and they give you a lot of cards just randomly spread. But now, for Chapter 2, you need 3 shiny cards. This is impossible with Anarchy packs. You could try buying collection packs to get those shinies, but that would be a very poor use of your resources. To get around this, let's use the referral system. The first 2 rewards give you enough shinies to clear the chapter. So, you can pass it to friends until they download the game, or you can drop your referral code below in the comments. I'll try pinning one for a few days to help out. Next, for the missions, you need to play with Apollo. If you don't have him, you could trade for him. He's an ingredient for the Sun fusion, so trading for him is justifiable, not that big of a waste of resources. Just be sure to include him in a trade for more than 3 cards. You also need to play 10 games with an ancient Egypt deck. I'll explain a bit more on this later on, so don't worry. For the 3rd chapter, you just want to play a few games with a culture, history, and science deck. And here are 2 options: the budget version and the actually good version made by Belufi on Discord. But don't stress too much about it now. I'm going to talk about all the decks later on in a bit more detail. For the rest of the chapter, and also including chapter 4, are just chores. Collect 5 Epic Romans, Anarchy packs. Collect 40 place cards, Anarchy packs. Open 50 packs, that's lucky, we have Anarchy packs. And now for activate her skill 15 times, just press the button. I believe in you, you can do this. Now, the much harder and last chapter, chapter number 5. Up until now, the quests have always asked you to play matches, but now they demand wins. Firstly, you need to win 15 games with a mono science deck. Then, 15 matches with a mono nature deck. Now that we have all of this information, we can begin playing some matches. First, the training weights. Remember the chapter 2 quest? Now, you can play the mono ancient Egypt deck. There are currently only 16 Egypt cards in the game. One is a fusion, and the other is a legendary. If you just began, that just leaves you 14 cards you can play. You need 12 for a full deck. And really, there's no synergy here. Just throw 12 cards together and call it a day. If you can, avoid Valley of Kings and Canopic Jars if you have any self-respect. But do what you must to get the quest done. You don't really need to win, you just need to remain seated for the whole match. Thrilling, I know. But you can use this time to get a feeling for Cleopatra. We're going to play her a lot, and this is a good time to do so. After that, let's move to the culture, science, and history deck. You just need 5 games with a better deck. It's not a lot, so please don't get used to playing a good deck for now. Now that you have acquired a lot of losses to decorate your profile with, we can pivot to an actually good deck. Mono Science, which needs to win, and thankfully Science is actually a great mono album. For this tap, Sir Isaac Newton is a good investment. It buffs your science cards with 3 or less attack with +2. But if you don't own him, don't worry. Focus on high power output like Ganymede and Jupiter. Bring healing, charge gain, shields, and tongue. This will help you win with Cleopatra. Keep in mind that you need to win, and she's rather fragile. Next up is Mono Nature. Felines are currently, at least in my opinion, the highest synergy collection in the game. Siamese and Bengal Tiger really want some more furry friends, so if you have them, you can play with them. But you can also try natural monuments like Heaven's Gate paired up with Devil's Tower. Use filler dinosaurs to glue this all together for some extra power. But just find what fits your playstyle and get 15 wins. It shouldn't be too much work. By going through all of the missions we just talked about in the order we did, you're going to finish the 50 played games goal naturally. So now, it's time to fight the queen herself. The rules for her match are simple. You get 20 energy per turn and a max of 30. Energy here is basically a myth. You can go absolutely wild with the most expensive cards you own. And her playstyle is quite simple. She will try to play 3 cards every turn, and she will get some shields and healing every now and then. Just take a look at her list. You might notice that it's not very good. So, I will now demonstrate how you perform a royal eviction. Let's get into the gameplay. Alright, keep in mind that you don't need to play Cleo for the last boss battle. But I'm just going to play her so I can showcase how she works in general. First, let's take a look at the deck. This is Baluffa's version, except that I have swapped Avicenna for Lungs. In the original deck, he buffs like 2 cards I think. Just Saturn and Cepho, which is good, but we don't need the energy here. So we can run Lungs instead for some extra healing, since I already know that Cleopatra is going to be attacking us a lot. Let's begin. To start the match, simply go to missions, Cleopatra, scroll all the way down, and click the button. Here you can see the energy rules. It doesn't show you her deck anywhere, but we already know how she plays, and we already know her list. Let's go. You might notice that she's shiny, and I really want that. Since we have a lot of energy, I think that we can already start by forcing her to attack us and consume some of the shield. So Tongue here is going to force her to attack because we are attacking, and Black Panther is going to give us some shield. And did you see that? She wasn't going to attack, so we already get to remove some of her attack without having to use our ability. Now, okay, we got a Charles out. It didn't give us any charge because we're already full, but it did take away one of her charges, so she can't be using her ability this turn. Even though we have 2 hold cards here, let's see, I don't think it's worth losing both of them, so let's do it like this. I really want to hold Gladiator to play it with Colosseum for the extra attack, but there's no real reason to lose on our hold cards, so we're gonna lose out on the buff for the Colosseum. It's gonna be okay. And she doesn't get enough attack to mess up the Gladiator, thankfully. We played Elizabeth on the same turn that we used the ability, so next turn you can already use it again. This turn she has enough energy, enough charges to use her ability. And I don't think there is any out here where I can not attack her. So we're going to use our ability again. Colosseum is going to force us to attack her, and she's going to attack us again. Okay, she was already going to attack us, so no worries. We aren't going to take any damage because we get shielding both from Pentagram, Claudius, and our ability. And I don't think that we are going to be able to damage her at all. Wait, she didn't use her ability. Okay, we're going to get some damage through. Going by the cycle, she's going to draw to the common on turn 7, I think, or turn 4. Sorry, turn 6. So she's probably going to be dead already and not going to get a trigger of the freeze effect, so we are okay. And she drew her pentagram now. So we don't have any common cards to get buffed by the effect. If you're playing this, I think that it's a guaranteed tomb for the wild turn. So if you have a common base deck, you're going to get some more effect out of it. But we don't, so we're just gonna follow through for gameplay. Right here, I don't think we're going to get any damage out this turn. The deck is very, very defensive. We are focusing completely on not taking damage instead of focusing on dealing damage to the opponent. So for example, this turn, we did 0 damage. She's going to have some shield left over after attack. But she's going to attack us, and she's going to deal 3 damage, and Lungs is going to heal us back up to full. And even if some ship damage had come through with more powerful attackers like T-Rex or some other aggressive deck, we still have Saturn here to heal us up. Charles stole some of her charges, so she's back to 0, I think. She just used her ability last turn. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not keeping enough track of this. So we know that for sure she can't use her ability this turn, so we can get a good attack through. Again, we use Elizabeth on the same turn that we click on the button, so next turn we have it back up again. And since I'm seeing that I'm not getting a lot of damage taken, Saturn is not being worth it. So I'm going to use it to get some damage through again. Now we get 5 more damage instead of Sappho. So he didn't attack, so see here, we wasted the use of the ability, but because we have Elizabeth, she's going to let us use it again next turn. And that is enough for us. And thankfully, we are getting Gladiator with Colosseum now. Looking at the cycle, I think we draw Gladiator once again, so let's play it here. We are going to use the ability and Claudius here. And we are going to go to 19 shield. She has very low power output, so I think that right here is going to be like less than 19. Exactly 19. So we aren't going to take any damage. And let me just check. Yeah, she's not below 20. Oh yeah. Now Tutankhamun's gonna trigger. I thought this wouldn't happen the whole game, but here we are. Thankfully, our hand doesn't have any cards that have high power, so we aren't gonna miss out a lot. So this should be no, this isn't gonna be the last turn. She has her ability, she has a lot of power. Hades is very good because even if it's just there to force the opponent to attack sometimes, he has a insane amount of base power compared to the cost. And now she wasn't going to attack, but we have Black Panther and Tonk, and we are forcing her to attack this turn. So she's going to consume a bit of our shield here. Sadly, she's shooting a lot as well. We are getting only 3 damage out. And we are taking a bit of damage. Just 4 damage, but still a small amount. Considerable amount, I should say. Okay, this is one of the big issues with playing a deck like Cleopatra. The way that we built this is completely focused on survivability. You're going to win through attrition, basically. And winning by attrition is usually not going to be easy. So by the end of the game, you're going to win because you have slightly more HP than your opponent. And yeah, we aren't gonna do any damage here. I actually think that we misplayed a bit by attacking this turn. We should have held the attack, but I was talking and didn't think it through. We're gonna heal back up to full with lungs. A really strong card. If you don't have it yet, try finding it. And this is the last turn. Thankfully, we played Elizabeth, so we have a guaranteed shield. And I know the Cleopatra's boss battle doesn't have any powerful card, like it doesn't have any aces hiding up her sleeve. So we have 21 we have 21 attack, she has 21 HP. Technically, we can win. We're going to go to 23, but I think that she has shielding here. And even if she survives this attack, the game ends and she has lower HP than us, so we win. And this is the usual playstyle you're going to find with this deck. And that's it. That's how you win. The game is much, much faster if you play with an aggressive deck. But because we were playing with Cleo to show how to play as Cleo, it's quite slow. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about how to play with Cleo, if this didn't really answer you a lot, you can just ask in the comments. I'm gonna be answering anything that shows up. God, my English is terrible today, sorry. And just to end the video, let's claim a wheel spin. Chinese cannot show up here, by the way. That's quite sad. Yay! A fusion ingredient. Let's do one more. I'm addicted. Woo! Keep gambling, boys! See you soon. Next video should be coming up on Wednesday. See ya!